Hello, let's talk about the 3-book assignment. And this is my old house, and behind the dog is the bookshelf. Right? When it comes to doing research, there's levels. I mean, if you're doing, are you researching to write a book? Are you researching to write a 1,000 word paper, a 2,000 word paper? There's going to be differences in how much you read. And books are an excellent source, even if you have a shorter page. Mainly because if you think about what it takes to write a book and the amount of effort that goes into it, that you're going to have consolidated in one spot a ton of hopefully well thought out information. And as a researcher, you don't always, right, have to read the entire book. In fact, like for this paper, the assignment of finding 3 books is not to get you to read 3 books. It's to get you to find 3 books that could be related to your topic, and then read a chapter in each one, or maybe it's even read half a chapter. Who knows how long these chapters will be. But I want you to have that experience of, one, finding some books, right? And then seeing, hey, you know what? I can use the index. I can use the table of contents and just go straight to what I need to read. And maybe I expand and read it more, but at least I can go and say, hey, look, here's the chapter on X. And now I'm going to read that. The other thing is, now some of you are going to do all of this online because ebooks are out there, and as long as you got a library card, it's pretty darn easy. But there's a neat thing about if you actually go physically to the library and you find your one book in the shelf, well, things are shaped by category. So if that's your one book, well, you look at the 10 on each side, and you might also find something that didn't come up in your search that is valuable. And in this initial stage, I want you to have too much information, not enough, right? So I'm going to have you get 3 books. You might not use any of them. You might use one, you might use two, and hey, maybe you found out, wow, each one had a quote or a paraphrase I wanted to take. But I do want you to find 3 and let me know what the 3 are, and we'll use that with some practice for MLA citation, right? So I'm going to walk you through a couple searches. Here is the Century Library. Now, searches, keywords matter, and so sometimes it's half science, half art, right? The science is we've got all of these systems to categorize stuff. The art is making sure you have the right word. Now, one person in our class is looking into the bystander effect, and of course you could go on Google. You could go into over here, the electronic database. I typically start with the Academic Search Premier because it's a big catch-all, right? But let's go back. Right now, I want you to look for books. And if you are one of the students who is outside of Minnesota, just go straight to the ebooks, right? So that way you'll be able to, you don't have to, you'll be able to get that book. So, but let's put this in for a second. Somebody was interested in the bystander effect. Right, now I'm going to put this word in. Maybe I get something, maybe I don't. And if I do, great. If not, I might have to come back and start thinking about what is a bigger term, right, to use. That's where practice and just experience comes in. And this is where you go, see this get help, right? This is where you go. If you're saying, okay, I want to look for the bystander effect, but I'm not finding what I want, you call the reference services, you start a chat, or you email and say, hey, I'm looking for books that somehow touch on this. Go to the experts. They basically at least have an MLS degree, which is like a library services, but it's 2 years graduate level, finding, sorting, organizing information. So they are your champions right there. Make sure to use this. Right, so let's see. Bystander effect. Okay, so I put in bystander effect, and we got 24,000 results. Way too many. Videos, articles. We want books. So how do you do that? You go to format, and I just want to look at the books because that's what the assignment is asking for. So now we're down to 454, starting to get more manageable, right? And all of a sudden I'm seeing fire emergency, 9/11. I'm thinking, what? I wonder why 9/11's coming up. So I might just click in and read the summary. I have to scroll down. What's it like? Destiny, on the job training, good neighbors, friends, night shift that's too silly, burnout, parenting option, unwannabes, retirement, wherever you go. Nope, don't think that's it. But that's what I have to do. I have to go in and look. So let's go back. Now, this, Kitty Genovese, this is a famous thing that happened in New York. So this is definitely going to have bystanders. I believe this is where really the term started to be created. And what you can do is if you went to the library to HV6534, you'd be able to see what's on each side of it. Now, most likely this is going to be some sort of true crime stuff, or it might be psychology. When you're looking for terms, one of the things that you can do is when you click in, right, to it, you'll see the title, and now you get subjects. And so murder victims, murder witnesses, New York. So, maybe witnesses might be a term you're going to use later in your search, because maybe it's bystander, but maybe witnesses, that might be something that is useful. And there you can see, because I had mentioned bystander effect, right, here's what her case started that, right? So, oh, look at this. But as author Kevin Cook reveals, the story is just that, a story. The truth is far more compelling. That's not a surprise, right? Most of what we know, if we actually look into it, is a lot more complicated. But so here's an example of, I found witness. I might need to use witness in my search, right? I can get this book and maybe just go straight for the part that's talking about bystander effect, so I can get this author's take on it and what it means. 454 is still too big, so I can do an advanced search, right? And now this might be everything from where I'm searching, right, but also other words, right? So maybe I want to add witness and see what happens. All right. So now it's gone back big again to all those things, 2000. And if I was just doing a standard search, I'd probably watch this video. Heck, I might watch it anyways, because this will be good information for me. As far as finding 3 books for the assignment that's due this week, I'm going to go over and just click to the books, right? But I would probably watch that video that keeps coming up, or at least click in and see what the summary is. Okay, so now I can start looking. 300 results. Got rid of 200, right? I can keep playing around with trying other words, right? Or I can keep loading results and scan through, and you can decide how much you want to do on that. Now, this is both going to give you books that are on the shelves and ebooks. Now, you can do a search for just specifically for ebooks, and actually I'll go back. So here we're in the library. Say you're not in St. Paul or White Bear Lake or Matamidi or anywhere. Click on ebooks, and that'll take us right here. Now you know everything's going to be an ebook. This one, pretty small. We got 3. I'm guessing the genomes and transgenerational effects isn't something that I'm going to be using. True crime, potentially, right? And building capacity to reduce bullying. So this has given us another hint. Maybe when we're looking at bystander stuff, currently it comes up when we talk about bullying. So I'm going to go in, read this summary, and look, there's a section on bystanders. So what's really nice too is, look at this. Most relevant pages from this ebook. So here you can even see, right? Here's a couple of places where it shows up, and you might think, hey, page 3, page 8, page 11. Another step you can do before you download this book or get access is go straight to the table of contents. And now I can actually see what's here, right? School-based interventions, peer-led. I'm going through transition. No, you know what? I bet you those pages 7, 8, or 11 are right in here in this overview of bullying and victimization, right? So I can go in and maybe this is the only part that I'm going to read is this overview, right? And most likely you are not going to find a one-to-one relationship. Like here is a thing written about bystanders in the Holocaust, right? And that you don't have to. And actually, it's a better workout for your brain if it isn't. So now you can start making this connection about why do people, for example, watch others get bullied and do nothing, right? And then all of a sudden, okay, do some of those same things apply in camp, or is it a totally different situation? So you can start doing that application. Now this was Century. I live in Matamidi, so that means I'm a member of the Washington County Library, right? And if you haven't got a card at your local library, I highly recommend it. I put in bystander effect, and check out this book, You Are Not So Smart, Why You Have Too Many Friends on Facebook, Why Your Memory's Mostly Fiction. And they have one section in here, where'd you go? And this is what you got to do. It is this exciting, right? You, prime, and confirmation bias, hindsight bias. Oh, this looks like pretty good stuff, actually. Sharpshooter fallacies. So these are all logical fallacies we fall for. Oh, the bystander effect. So I might select an action. Place hold. I'd like this book. So now, this book is coming. So if it's an ebook, I can get it. I can be looking at it right then and there. Typically, right, you're going to have to, like, I had already logged in with my Century email, right? Or if I'm on here, you saw it asked for my information. But now this book is coming, and sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's long, so that's why it's good to start early. So about a week or two before we get to your big paper, we're going to do a similar thing here to make sure that if there are books out there that would benefit you, you have them on the way, right? So I've just sent that book to me. It's going to show up. In another video, I'll show you how to take this information, move it into Citation Machine or any one of those programs, and that will kick it out in MLA format. So to summarize, I want you to get 3 books. Right? You can get them from the Century Library. You can get them from your local library. I do want you to get them from a library. Though you can, oh, silly me. If you want, you can go to Amazon, write the monster that it is, and this is what I'll do sometimes. I go here, right? Ooh, obedience to authority. Awesome. Look at this. Now we got some stuff going here. Obedience to authority in experimental view. Well, let's go back to the library. I'm gonna click on here so I can cut and paste. All right. Obedience to authority. So, Century Library, hey, do you have obedience to authority? Oh, look at that. Holy cow, available Century Library General Collection. Bam, and check this out, HM 1251. I bet you there's going to be a lot about authority. Well, I'm not going to bet you, but there's probably anywhere from a couple to a bunch of books around this topic, right? And available at the library. So, I sped through as far as reading the summary, but I like the title and I was going to get that book. But so you can look at this, some really interesting stuff going on here. Oh, also get it at Ridgewater. So say this was out. I could actually probably request it from Ridgewater if somebody already has grabbed it, right? And a lot of these books, right, you can sign in, request it, and they'll even have it waiting for you in the back office. So I went to the Century Library, I did a search there. I went to my local library, I did a search there. I went to Amazon to find some book titles and then checked if my library had them. And the first one it did. So I really like doing that because you're a researcher, you can't buy all these books. And what if you only need 30 pages in this? Just get it from the library, have it for 2 weeks, photocopy what you need, or write down what you need, and then you're good. So, want you to get 3 books. If you are stuck, how do I turn that thing that I wrote about people into a topic to search from? You can definitely ask me, but I would go, I'm good at it, but I would go to the experts too. And this is 24/7. Actually, it's funny. Well, it's not funny. It's just really cool. They actually have, during business hours, you get somebody from Century. After hours, they have this rotating librarian thing. So, there might be somebody in Brainerd, a librarian, who will help you when you contact them. But this is a great resource. So if you're having trouble finding something, go right here. Go to the experts, email them, chat them, call them, and say, hey, I'm trying to find a book on whatever it might be. All right, let me know if you have any questions. And remember, you're not going to read these 3 books, right? But I want you to find 3 books that could be related. Check the table of contents, right? Like I did with the one or the index, right? To make sure there might be useful information in here. And all right, have fun. Cast a wide net. Really look out there. Ask for help from the librarians or me if you need it. Use all 3 sources. Century Library, your local library, and Amazon to find books. And you don't have to physically have a copy in your hand. So if you want to get an ebook and have it, that's fine. But you can also just have it on the way to you. That's going to count for today.